live from the Coachella Valley. Time for another hour of the desert scene. Art exhibitions to modernism, music festivals to live theater, big screen, little screen, and very little screen. This is the Culture Corner with Bonnie Gilgallon and Brayan Mendoza. Here's Bonnie and Brayan on iHub Radio.
And we are back on the Culture Corner, and we're now joined by Lori Loftis, who's got a lot to tell us about. There's some excitement coming up. The 1-year anniversary at the shops on San Pablo, and fireworks and all kinds of stuff. Hi, Lori. How are you?
I am fabulous. How are you doing today?
Good. So tell us a little bit. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So you're celebrating your 1-year anniversary. So tell us about all of this celebration.
It's a little bit crazy to think about me opening up in the middle of COVID on the 4th of July. But, the Palm Desert City does this fabulous fireworks show, and the San Pablo corridor is the perfect site to watch it. So, when it was COVID and I had a 5,500 square foot showroom, I really could be open. So I got an air sanitizing system, and I have clean air and abided by all the COVID laws and until about November. But we have a small fashion house of fun here because there's a Steinway in the lobby area, and we do fashion shows and all kinds of great things. And the local people they don't all know about me. So you giving me this opportunity to talk to your listeners is fabulous. So that corner spot where Musicians Outlet used to be is now the shops on San Pablo. And it's plural because I brought Venus Fashion Boutique over here, and then I have 7 other little shops within the shops of San Pablo. So Sheila Simone was at Orange County Fashion Week. She has her boutique here. She's actually been invited to the Paris Fashion Week. So Southern California is going international, known for their fashion. So I tried to bring my fashions from Venus, which were kind of geared for 40 and above for all body styles, from size 2 to 22 over here. But I really wanted there to be a mix. So anybody from teenagers to grandmothers, great-grandmothers, can find a look that's going to make them look fabulous. So we have all these vendors in here with all different kinds of styles, and you can mix and match and have a fun day just playing with them. And I do know a lot of musicians in this town who have supported me. And when there was no place for them to play, they would come in here and we'd have very small, socially distanced gatherings. But they're supporting me now, and they're going to come by on the 4th of July. I mean, we're talking Johnny and Teresa Mesa, Patrice Morris, Keisha D, Mark Antonelli, Tim Burleson, Darcy Daniels, Jessica Taylor. I mean, these are big acts, and they're great friends, and they've been supportive, and they're going to come and just jam with us throughout the day. They'll have we'll have a mix of all our vendors here doing fashion shows at 1 and 4 o'clock, and then at 5 o'clock, I hope people jot this down. The shops on sanpablo.com. We're having a $500 shopping spree giveaway, and we'll announce the winner at 5 o'clock. So if you can find our website, go on there. It talks about that $500 shopping spree. We're trying to spread the word through social media, so the more you share it, the more opportunities you have to win that. We'll announce that at 5. And then from 6 to 9, we have Babalu's, which also opened up during COVID. They're going to bring a bar over here. They have a catering license for a bar, so they'll open up a bar. We'll have our parking lot set up for viewing the fireworks, so we're going to have like a tailgate party and just have fun like we do in the Fashion House of Fun here on the shops on San Pablo.
Wow, that's very exciting. Yeah, and I know all of those singers. I'm a singer too, and all of those people are my friends. Darcy Dinn, very good friends. Keisha, Darcy, I know all of them. Jessica Taylor, they're all fabulous. And let's see, fireworks VIP tailgate party. Now, so you will be able to see. Well, you'll be able to see the official Palm Desert fireworks from there. Yes.
Absolutely. There are 3 blocks. So when they shoot up, our parking lot is the best vantage point ever to watch that fireworks show. So you can stay inside in the nice air conditioning with wonderful, playful people and try on new clothes. We have a medical esthetician in here, so try on new clothes, makeup, have fun just like girls like to do. I do have a small section for men. We don't want to leave our guys out. But the guys have so much fun seeing the women in the great clothes and enjoying the great entertainment that it is a new shopping experience like no one's ever everybody comes in there and goes, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this before. I said, yeah, I'm kind of thinking out of the box.
That's what I have to come check it out. I was at the Venus, the Venus location, but I haven't been there since you've changed over to this Shops on San Pablo. This sounds exciting. Now, so how has it, what has it evolved the way that you anticipated when you first started out, or is it bigger and better?
Well, I was originally courting some girlfriends of mine that are also boutique owners in this valley, whose names I shall not mention at this point. But there was going to be 4 of us in the original business plan to come in here, because we go to a lot of pop-ups together, and we do modeling shows at different restaurants around town. So we knew we could play nice in the sandbox together. But when COVID hit, it sort of changed things. Yeah. And then November, I was like, I have to do something. And the city's not doing anything to promote this street that they put in here. Their hands were tied. I get it. Yeah. But I did a street fair at that time, and I called all the vendors from COD because they didn't have a place to I'm like, they're sitting on all their merchandise. Yeah. So I did give us the opportunity, and I had an outdoor street fair for Thanksgiving break, and I will probably do that traditionally every year, and hopefully the city will do it with me. I can't do all the promotion for this block, but I'm going to try because it's supposed to be the fun block. We have great fashions, and it's not as expensive as El Paseo. It's more targeted for everybody. I got to tell you, I did have a group, a grandmother, daughter, and granddaughter in here, and they had the best time dressing each other up. And one of the girls sang, so I got her up there, and she got to sing for the family. And that's the kind of stuff that just magically happens here. It's fabulous.
Yeah, that is great. So
it's fabulous. Yeah.
This sounds. You must be exhausted. This sounds like a 14-hour day, 7-day-a-week job to keep this running.
Well, you do know I'm Lindy Beegee's daughter, so I have this passion in me that just drives me. I thought COVID I'd slow down. I didn't.
Yeah, the Energizer Bunny, definitely.
Yeah.
How is Lindy, by the way? I haven't seen her in so long. How's she doing?
She's doing fabulous. She'll be here on the 4th of July if you want to see her. And she's getting a little bit more involved with Loving All Animals again. So they'll be hosting Spaghetti No Balls in November. And then I'm actually doing their New Year's Day event with fashions and stuff. They're having a pajama party on New Year's Day. So she's, kind of freed up a little bit. But trust me, she's got her fingers plotting a few things. We don't know which way they'll go. But we'll definitely let you know when we start getting involved in more crazy projects for this community.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'm going to have to pop in. My birthday's July 5th, so the 4th has always been really exciting for you. So I'm going to have to pop in. This just sounds great.
Please do. So it's every Thursday night from 4 to 6:30. We have open mic. So we, bring your tracks. On occasional Sundays, I'll have a piano player in here so we can sing with them. Sundays are fun days around here. We spin the wheel and give prizes with purchases. But for the summertime, I want everyone to know our hours will be changing. We'll be Wednesday through Sunday from 9:30 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon. And that frees up from 3:30 on for you to book a private party in here. If your girlfriends are coming into town, a wedding party, we could do makeovers for them. We have some people that are doing mixers that'll do that with us, and then we'll do our regular event every Thursday night. But it does leave us open because the center aisleway, we had a chamber mixer in here. Without even changing the furniture around, we'll hold about 40 people. So it's a really great way to celebrate your birthday or bridal showers or divorce parties. I call them single celebrations to get your new look and ready for your new life. And a lot of us are starting a new life right now, and I'd love to help you find your style to do it in.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how big. So it seats about 40 people if you were going to have some event like that?
If you're going to sit down and want them to all be in front of a table, yes. A table seating is about 40, but it's a 5,500 square foot venue, so there's plenty of room. Yeah, I have 2 runways, so it kind of wraps around the seating area in the center, and then the vendors have their areas to the right and the left. So it's fun. If you go on to our new website, theshopsonsanpablo.com, there's actually a 3D virtual tour, which, everything's changing. But it kind of gives you an idea of the layout and the expansiveness of this tiny boutique, which is not so tiny.
So tell us again a little bit about the kinds of fashion you have there. So you have a little bit of everything?
I have a little bit of everything. So Sheila Simone is resort wear, sexy, goddess-type clothes, really nice fabrics. I really think a cosmetic surgeon should sponsor her fashion shows, because if you have a rockin' body, you are going to love her stuff. But she has stuff for normal girls like me. And then, of course, I'm always trying to get things for us ladies who happen to go up and down in weight all the time. Mm-hmm. And so they can adapt for you. And, you know, there's wonderful blingy stuff for entertainers. Marisa Nicole is my partner in crime over here. She's an entertainer, international designer of dolls, and she used to be part of the Home Shopping Network.
Wow.
So, boy, does she have her finger on blingy stuff. I call it the treasure trove for entertainers, and I keep it up by the piano, and everybody's like, it's summertime. You need to move that stuff to the back. I said, oh, no. Entertainers love this stuff, and it needs to be by the piano. So it's up front, but I have my springy stuff, my patriotic stuff. LZ Girls is another local designer here, and she's originally Brazilian, so she's gone to Brazil, and she has them manufacturing these beautiful crocheted dresses and open-air pants, and she also does vintage alterations, and so really fun stuff. And then I have another new lady coming in on the 1st who does all the specially couture designing specifically for quinceañeras. So I'm trying to get everybody in their own lane, and myself, I have over 40 different designers in my side. So
wow.
I'm going collecting from local, and I have some beautiful things at very affordable prices. But they're designed in the United States or Canada, and they're importing them from places that we are trying to get away from importing. So I've told my people, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start buying only California. Within 2 years, I really want to represent the California designers and manufacturers. So I do have some great stuff from Paris and things now that I really love. But if I could get to being this community spot and representing the great talent of the designers here, that's where I'd like to be.
Wow. And two, I'm going to follow up on two things you said. Bling. I need some, because I need some more blingy stuff, so I'm going to have to come check that out. And the other thing is, I have found, and I'm sure there's other women have found this, when you go to a store, a lot of stores, these regular stores these days, it seems like there's a lot of stuff for, 20-somethings, or then there's really conservative stuff if you're 80. And I'm neither of those things. And to find something, if you're over 50, but you still want to look glamorous and exciting, it's hard to find sometimes. So I have to get stuff online, but it sounds like you've got some stuff I need to check out.
Girlfriend. I mean, it's so funny because I never really thought of myself as fashion person, but I've always you never wear the same thing twice. It's like, oh yeah, I don't. Well, I'm my mother's daughter. I get it. I can help you dress, and it will be very unique and expressive to express your style. I'm kind of an empath, so I try to get to know you a little bit, and then when I go to market, I'm buying for you. So that's very dangerous. Very dangerous indeed.
Lori Loftis, thank you so much. Check this guy out. The 4th of July party, 1-year anniversary. The shop's on San Pablo. Doors open 9 to 9. Resort and swimwear fashion show. $500 shopping spree contest. Fireworks, entertainment. I mean, this sounds just really fabulous. Thank you so much for being here. I'm checking it out. I will be there. No doubt. Absolutely.
I love it. And happy birthday to you. And I hope to see you on the 4th, and thank you so much for sharing me with your listeners.
You're most welcome. Listen, stay cool out there, and take care, and I'll see you on the 4th. All right.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. I'll make you sing a song.
Okay. Lori Loftis. All right, we'll be back with much more in the Culture Corner.
The curtain rises on local and regional arts and entertainment. From music to theater, films to fine art, it's the Culture Corner. Get connected. Call 760-544-TALK. That's 760-544-8255. Here's Bonnie and Brayan on iHub Radio.
So I finally got to see In the Heights, and I wanted to get perspective on the controversy and the praise for it. So I saw it, and just full disclosure, if you haven't seen my photo, you'll see that I am a fairly lighter skin Latino brown man. Like, I don't think I would count as white for a lot of people. Just to be clear, there are like white Latinos and white Hispanic people.
There's different shades of everybody, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And so while I do consider myself a person of color, I also invited someone along to see the movie who is a darker skinned Afro-Latino. And funny enough, like I've been seeing this person for like a while now, and I barely found out they were Afro-Latino. I was like, oh, I guess I really am colorblind when it comes to dating. Oh, well, because I didn't even know. And so we went to go see In the Heights, and I said to him, you know, the show is really good. I've just always had issues with how they cast it sometimes, because they would have a woman that they call La Abuela. And it's always, and this is going to sound problematic to some people, but I always get kind of bothered a little bit if they cast like an older woman who doesn't speak Spanish well. Like, I always feel like that character speaks Spanish and she puts Spanish in her songs, and if the Spanish doesn't sound right, or it doesn't sound like a woman that immigrated here, I kind of don't buy into it. And I feel like there's a difference between Spanish that a person learns from hearing, from what, like, let's say you learn an accent, like you get trained to do an accent, versus someone watching a bunch of YouTube videos and imitating it. I've seen the production of it where a woman wouldn't know how to play that role. And I've also seen productions of it where they got white actors to play roles that were Dominican, and they're supposed to be black Dominican. So I said to him, you know, no matter what, this movie's got it, no matter what the controversy is, before I go into this movie, I'm going to at least sit here and be comfortable with the fact that at least it's all Latino. No matter who, no matter what part it is, it's all Latino, as opposed to like productions where they don't put in that much of an effort. And they just think, we're going to cast like this random person in it who can't even speak the Spanish parts well or sing it well. And because the audience for it is mostly non-Spanish speaking, they just assume that, well, they don't know Spanish.
So it doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter. But it's like, but they're also not considering like me or my family. When we watch that show, we'll know that they can't speak Spanish. So I saw it, and I got to say, you got to see it, Bonnie. It's a really good movie. I liked it. I thought the performances were great. The directing was very solid, especially from John Cho, who he's even admitted that he didn't even know there was such a thing as black Latino individuals. Like, he was not even sure about that. So I'm glad that in hindsight, the conversation about the lack of dark-skinned Afro-Latinos in the movie, you know, that conversation is happening. But I'm happy with the movie I saw. And I asked Leo, because the person I was with, I asked him, you know, like, so, you know, does the lack of representation, because he is a dark-skinned Afro-Latino, and he said to me, you know, I still thought it was a great movie. I mean, sure, they, you know, it doesn't hurt that they could have cast maybe a darker, they could have give more opportunities to the darker-skinned individuals, but they still got a great movie out of it. I still cried, you know, and like we came to the conclusion that there's always opportunity for growth, but it's a step forward, and sometimes it's okay to be just happy with that.
And sometimes things like the progress is slow, and sometimes baby steps are better than no steps. And
I gotta say, it's a very solid movie, and I'm curious to see how West Side Story will do. Because West Side Story, if anything, I understand the criticisms of it more. Because like when I go back and watch the original movie, I have to kind of accept that Natalie Wood is doing brown face, because, you know, obviously she's playing a brown skinned girl in that movie, and she's a white woman. So like I have to kind of accept it as what it is.
That's what they did in those days.
Well, and I accept it, but also because if I don't like that movie, I'm also going to miss out on George Chakiris and Rita Moreno, who are Latina.
I mean, it's great. I mean, the original West Side Story was a terrific movie.
And they're remaking it with an actual Latino cast for there's going to be an actual Latina girl to play Maria. So I'm excited to see that. And to be honest, even people who saw the original movie, they never thought Natalie Wood was like the perfect Maria in hindsight, because her voice was dubbed by. Well,
I was going to say she wasn't her singing either. So
So like even her accent needed some work, but I actually love that movie looking back at it. And you know what? If in 2021 we get an actual Latina play Maria, and we get actual Latinos to play the characters in the Heights, I'm okay with that for now. And the person I was with, who's Afro-Latino, he can't speak for everybody, and I can't speak for everyone in the Latino community, but the fact that these movies are happening makes me feel a certain way. It rejuvenates my feeling, because I love musicals, and so
me too.
For me to see like Latino people in musicals, it means a lot to me, even if it's not perfect, even if not everyone's invited, sadly, because there's always going to be that door that opens so everyone can come in, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. And so, again, progress is slow, but progress is progress. Even if it's slower than we like, at least it's a step forward. So that's good.
And go watch In the Heights. If you haven't seen it, please support it, because it is considered a box office disappointment, so raise up that money.
All right. Okay, we're going to be back with my buddy Yo Younger to tell us about the Miss Firecracker Contest at Desert Rose in just a bit on the Culture Corner.
You're listening to Bonnie Gilgallon and Brayan Mendoza, talking arts and entertainment on iHub Radio's The Culture Corner. Live from the desert cities of Southern California, here's Brayan and Bonnie.
And we're back in the Culture Corner. We're now joined by my buddy Yo Younger, who is in the cast of the Miss Firecracker Contest at Desert Rose Playhouse, the first show in their brand new renovated location. Hey, Yo, how are you?
Hey, Bonnie.
So how's it going so far?
Well, we've had 2 shows, and it seems to get more solid each night. You know, this whole thing has been quite a labor of love, not only for the cast, but, you know, being the first production in the new Desert Rose Playhouse space. And there's just been so much to do, and Robbie Wayne and Matthew are just amazing. They've done so much, and anyway, so what do you want to know?
Yeah, I've seen all their Facebook posts. Well, I saw it a month ago, 2 months ago, when they were, so much work. That was a huge job, and they're still kind of putting little finishing touches on it. Correct at this point?
Yes,
So, how do you know how big the actual space is? That's a big space.
Well, it actually holds 300 people.
Yeah. Wow.
But I think right now, you know, because of COVID restrictions and stuff, it's we're only allowed to seat 120. But, you know, everything is spaced out pretty well, and there's high tops and regular seats, and anyway, but you saw it, right?
And there's a bar. This is such a cool space. It really is. Yeah.
It's like big bar. You can get anything you want to drink before the show, intermission, after the show. It's sort of like a social kind of bar that you can kind of hang out in a little bit afterwards if you know people. And yeah,
love it. So tell us about the show. You know, I know the title of the show. I've seen the title. I don't know way back when Holly Hunter was in it, I think, but I don't know that much about the story. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it is about a small town country family. It centers around the main character of Carnell, which is played by Felicia Mason, who does a fabulous job.
Okay.
And she, you know, had a very dysfunctional childhood, and she was sent to live with me and my brother, her cousins, and our mother, which was her aunt. Okay. And we all lived together for a while. The mother had some abusive problems, and you know, we all suffered from it. And the premise of the play is me, her cousin, showing up for an unexpected visit, and there's drama behind that. And then my brother shows up unexpectedly, so we sort of throw a little dent, you know, into her plan, because she wants to enter the Miss Firecracker Contest, which my character had entered about 15, 16 years, I don't know how many years, but quite a few years back, and had won the title. And so she wants to be like me and, you know, show her worth and win this contest, and we're all doubtful, because we don't think she has what it takes.
Okay. So lots of dysfunction, family drama, tension. Yeah, I can see that. And
but it's funny. It is I'd say it's a dramedy, but it's there's drama in it, but it's mostly a comedy and some very, very funny parts.
Okay, and Beth Henley. I mean, Beth Henley, she did Crimes of the Heart. I mean, that's kind of her thing. I mean, she does stuff that's very funny, but also has drama in it as well. Yeah.
Right.
And so Robbie Wayne is in the cast and directed. That's a tough thing to do. I've always wondered about that's got to be a tough thing to do.
Oh, yeah. It was. It's tough because you're wearing, he's got producer, director, and actor hat.
Yeah.
All going on at the same time. But he's done an amazing job, and I love acting with him. We have such good chemistry as brother and sister. Mm-hmm. And I said Felicia Mason is in it. Rebecca Rodriguez, Christine Michelle, and John Corr are also in the cast.
And I don't know any of them. So are any of those new to the desert, or would I have seen them in anything?
John Corr is new. This is, I believe, his first production in the desert. Mm-hmm. Christine and Rebecca have both worked at Palm Canyon, Desert Theater Works.
Okay.
They've done quite a bit out here. But first time for me to work with either of them.
Okay.
But Felicia and I worked together a lot, so that's been wonderful.
So tell us about. I've said this many times, and I believe it. Yo Younger is, and I've worked with Yo. Yo's a friend. We've known each other for years. We've done several shows together, which was great fun. I think you are one of the best, certainly dramatic actresses in the desert by far. What is your?
Thank you, Bonnie.
Well, I think it's the truth. I wouldn't say it if I didn't think that. What is your approach? I mean, when you're cast in a new play? I mean, everyone has their own kind of little things that they do. If you had to describe your philosophy of acting when you get a new part, how do you approach it normally, or is it different every time?
Well, that's probably one of the hardest questions to ask an actor. But it's a very good question. I don't know if, I've been doing it for so long that each time I notice my process changes a little bit. Mm-hmm. I used to be an actress that just, immediately started thinking, okay, backstory, what, all the details, what's happened in my life, and, to bring me to this point. Mm-hmm. And, so that is a big part of my work. And then I have to just put myself, imagine if this was me in this character's circumstances as opposed to playing another person.
Okay.
And then that way I can bring my own, touch to it, which I think makes every actor's performance, like, Meryl Streep could play a role and Nicole Kidman could play the same role. They're going to be very different performances because they're very different people.
Right.
So that's my main approach, is using, myself, my life experience, but then, transforming it into the character and then adding all those little things in.
Mm-hmm. And what I know, I'm a stage actress too. What is everyone has their own little tricks. Do you have a particular trick for memorizing lines? I know some people take a tape recorder and record all their lines on a tape recorder and just listen to it for hours and hours. And some people they'll take one line and do it, memorize that and go with build and the next. And of course, running lines with another human being is always helpful. But do you have any special tricks for memorizing, especially a lot of lines?
For me, memorizing is like I'm an actress that has to be blocked first. Mm-hmm. Once I get my blocking and I'm holding my script, then when I go back, I know where I'm moving, and then I can start to put the script down, and it just sort of flows because, but then I have to after I've been blocked, then I have to sort of just sit down and just kind of go over it each day, line by line, and then I'll add a couple more lines.
Right.
But I think the main thing about memorization is the more you rehearse, it just sort of is there.
Yeah. It becomes sort of organic. What about styles of directors? I know we've all worked with many different directors. Some directors are very, very hands-on and sort of micromanaging. Others are, all right, here's my general idea, and lets the actor kind of do their thing. And if that works, great. If that doesn't work, well, let's try this. Do you have a particular favorite style of director to work with?
I mean, I've worked with both types. I guess I would answer that as I kind of like a little bit of each. I do like to be blocked. I don't want to have to figure that out. Like I want the director to say, okay, move here.
Right.
And go there.
Right.
And then let me explore, the character. So I like having a little freedom to find my own things, but yet if I'm not delivering what they envision, I really want them to tell me.
Right.
Tell me what you want.
Right.
So that's me.
Okay.
I'm sure every actor's different, but
yeah. And have you ever? And you can, if you have a story to share, that's great. Ever been in a situation where you just froze up in the middle of a scene, or somebody else froze up in the middle of the scene? Well, actually, I've worked with you where I froze up in the middle of a scene. But do you have a story you want to share about that kind of thing?
Oh God, I have so many. I'll share one.
Okay.
I don't know if you were in. I know you did Shattered Ceilings at one point.
Yeah.
And I did it. I don't know if you were in the version I did.
No, I don't think so. We were not in the same thing.
But I was playing Betty Ford. And it was a series of monologues, and it was about a 4-page solid monologue.
Wow,
and I just
that's a lot.
stood behind a podium.
Yeah.
And, doing fine, da-de-da. And then, there was one night, and I don't know what happened. I reached a moment, and it was like, I have no idea what to say. And I'm like, and everybody's looking at me, and I'm Betty Ford.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. So I thought, should I walk off the stage?
Yeah.
And I don't know, but somehow something mustered up, and
it came back.
I found it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was probably the most frightening moment in my entire career.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it is terrifying. It is terrifying. I've had it happen a couple of times. Yeah, it's right. And one was Mr. Horn. Yeah, Mr. Horn. I just stopped in the middle, and I remember you saying to somebody, "Did she have a stroke? Or what happened?"
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Did Bonnie have a stroke?
Because, I just completely lost and luckily came back. All right, I want to get this in before we run out of time. The Miss Firecracker Contest at the brand new location, Desert Rose Playhouse, which is 611 South Palm Canyon Drive, that curve there where Zelda's used to be. Directed by Robbie Wayne, Yo Younger, Felicia Mason, Robbie Wayne, Rebecca Rodriguez, Christy Michelle, John Core. It opened this past Wednesday, tonight, 8 o'clock, Saturday, 8 o'clock, Sunday, 2 p.m., and the same thing for next weekend, correct?
Well, yes. And also next week, we have a Wednesday and a Thursday show at 7 p.m.
Okay, great. Excellent. So this coming week. So tonight, 8 p.m., tomorrow, 8 p.m., Wednesday and Thursday, 7, Sunday, 2 p.m., the Miss Firecracker Contest. If you haven't, you got it. I can't wait to see the actual finished space, Desert Rose. Like I saw it about a month ago. It looked great, but they still had things to do. But it's such a wonderful space, and I'm so happy that Desert Rose is now there, and congratulations to Robbie and Matthew, because I know they have worked their buns off to get this whole thing up and running.
They deserve an honorable award.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Do you have a phone number or website? I don't see it on here real quick for tickets.
Yes. Tickets 760-202-3000.
Okay.
or you can go to www.desertroseplayhouse.org and get your tickets there.
Super. All right, go check out Yo and the Miss Firecracker Contest, Desert Rose. Thank you, Breaking Lake tonight. Thank you for being here. You're always fabulous to talk to.
Thank you, Bonnie. You too.
All right, Miss Yo Younger. All right, we'll be back with more on Culture Court in just a bit.
You're listening to Bonnie Gilgallon and Brayan Mendoza, talking arts and entertainment on iHub Radio's The Culture Corner. Here are Bonnie and Brayan.
The Island Express Helicopters Incorporated. Now, you might not know the name of that company, but you know it's very infamous.
Worst accident.
Yeah. It was infamous for being the company that had the helicopter that pretty much killed
Kobe Bryant and his daughter
yes.
and some other people, yeah.
Yeah, so they finally reached a settlement. They haven't made any statement of how much, but they have finally agreed. Vanessa Bryant and other families of the victims have finally agreed to just sort of let things go and just settle. And I think that at this point is for the best, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine that happening, and then not only your husband, but your daughter, your daughter, and having to deal with that, and then it was a tragedy, and I honestly think that it's good that they're settling, and I'm glad, and it's also good on the company for settling too. It's not just on the family, but on both sides. So I'm very happy they came to an agreement.
Yeah.
And finally, Harrison Ford actually injured himself filming Indiana Jones 5. He actually sustained a shoulder injury during rehearsal. He is 78 years old, so if anybody's curious about how old he is, but he sustained an injury while rehearsing a fight scene, and they will continue production until he gets better. It's just that they're going to film the scenes around him. And I got to say, for Harrison Ford being 78 years old to still do these types of roles,
that's kind of impressive, and it's not that surprising that he would get injured at that age in a fight scene. Yeah,
certainly not. Certainly, like, I think that I praise him for legitimately trying to still play this role. Like, I still think maybe 3 Indiana Jones movies were fine. Like,
I'm not sure. It was a great character, and I love Harrison Ford, but I'm not sure we need a lot more Indiana Jones movies. You know?
No, I agree with you on that. And I think the first movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, if someone were to tell me, like, what are some of your favorite movies of all time, I would say Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of them, too. But the second one, which is still great. The third one, I liked it. The fourth one had aliens in it, and I wasn't entirely sure about it. Like, I always thought they were ridiculous to begin with, but
yeah, adding aliens into the mix, it
just seems a little off.
Sounds like they were stretching, trying to find something else to put in there. Yeah.
Did you ever, if you remember the fourth movie, it was famous for having a part where Indiana survived a nuclear explosion inside a refrigerator.
I know, I didn't see that. No, I think I saw the first two.
Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
But, fun fact about Temple of Doom is that movie's violence was so controversial at the time because it was a PG movie that it actually led to the PG-13 rating having to exist because of how violent that movie was.
I did not know that.
Along with Gremlins, because both movies were not super violent, but they were too violent for G, and so they were...
Gremlins was a little creepy. That was kind of a weird, sort of little bit of creepy movie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I think the scenes that were questionable were, like, in Indiana Jones, the second movie, they had a part where somebody gets their heart pulled out. One of the villains pulls out a heart. And so looking back at it, it was pretty gruesome for a PG movie. And also with Gremlins was... Well, if you remember that movie, they literally had a scene where one of the gremlins exploded inside of a microwave. And
I remember that being a little bit disturbed by that. Yeah.
Yeah, looking back at it. So the PG-13 rating existing, you got to give those two movies credit for that one.
Okay.
But also, final, and I think this will be our final story for the day, but Sesame Street finally decided to break another barrier by featuring 2 gay fathers for the first time in their 51-year history. They released an episode called, if I'm not mistaken, Family Day. So they have an episode where the characters on Sesame Street, including the puppets, invite their families over, and they see the different types of families, including single parents, Big Bird with his grandmother and different types of families. And they finally decided to include a gay family for once. And I got to say, I'm not surprised that they finally did it, because it's one of those things where they've always been groundbreaking on that end.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I think they had to do at some point, and it just reminds me. We've talked about this before, but I am just really gratified to see in television commercials these days so many diversified families. You see men together, women together. You see interracial marriages, interracial children. I think that's fabulous. I really do.
And it's funny you say that, because I was watching FX the other day. I was watching Pose, and there was a commercial where they had two dads in it, and it just I don't know how silly this sounds, but sometimes I watch those commercials and I'm always worried that they don't make it clear enough. But they did. They're sleeping in the bed together, and I'm like, that's normal. So I watched another commercial with a straight couple, and it was very similar. I thought, I sometimes find myself being cynical, saying, oh, but they'll never have the gay couple kissing each other goodnight. But then I watched the commercial with the straight couple, and they don't do that either. So I was kind of thinking to myself, okay, things are getting more normal. And Whoopi Goldberg said, it's never enough until it's normal.
Yeah, and I just, excuse me, I think it's one of the things I like about it, excuse me, is that they're not making a big deal of it. It just seems normal. Okay, here's this interracial couple, the woman's African American, the man's white, the child's it just seems normal. And I like that. I really like that.
And I also I like those commercials where they show different families. So there'll be commercials where they'll have a person talking to their one family, and then they'll cut to another family, and then they'll cut to another family. I think Coca-Cola had that exact commercial where they had a gay family and all these different types of families, or Amazon, and they're corporations, of course, but the fact is that it's nice to see commercials that are normal. So for me, when I see Sesame Street doing this, it's very important. And Sesame Street has tackled divorce and different types of families in the past, so it's nice to see that they put in the research to finally accept the fact that I think kids can handle seeing two dads or two moms on TV, considering that Sesame Street, they try really hard to just be really informative and try to show children how the world works. And so I like to say that it's more telling about somebody when they sexualize a relationship between two men and two women. So whenever I had a friend say, well, I don't know if I feel comfortable because, the kids are too young for that. And then I asked them, but your child watches Disney movies and a lot of them feature men and women kissing. So what would be the problem if you see a non-kissing gay couple on TV? So I kind of feel like it's more telling about a person's mentality when they oppose it for that reason, and rather than the show itself. The show just wanted to have a family, and I think that's beautiful, and I love that. And you know what? Kudos to Sesame Street for doing this.
Yes, good for them. And the other thing is, I just go back to this all the time. It sounds, no, it's repetitive, but here's the thing. I don't care what someone else does in their bedroom, and you can love whoever you want. It doesn't affect my life, and it doesn't affect anybody else's life either. So they really have no business telling anybody else what they should do, who they should love. Just period, end of story. That's my 2 cents.
No, I agree. And you know what? Doesn't matter what happens in anyone's bedroom, but you know what? It doesn't. But you don't have to be repulsed by it, of course.
Yeah, just course. It's you do what you stay out of. Keep your nose out of other people's business. Mind your own business. Do your own thing, and we can all get along.
And accept and love others, of course.
Yeah, exactly. All right, thank you so much to all of our great guests today. Stay cool, stay safe. Oh, by the way, we're holiday programming next week. The week after that will be on Saturdays. Back to Saturdays, 10 to noon.
Of course, and we'll see you there.